Hey everyone, Sheldon here, and this is just an update video for this new project I've been working on. It's going to be a paper bike. Now, what you see here is just the template layer, and it goes all the way over here like that. So obviously, this is going to take a lot of paper to complete this project, and this is just the frame you see right here. This is the only part of the template I've made so far, and it's just basically a bunch of pieces of paper taped together because it's so big. So I'm just going to show you what I've done so far. So this part right here is about 30 layers thick, and you can see it's pretty sturdy. I mean, it flexes a little bit still, but you know, it's only 30 layers, and this whole thing needs to be 2 inches thick. So by that point, it's going to be really strong. So if you look at this bottom portion right here, you can see there's this long piece of paper right here, and then there's another one right there and right there. So I'm doing this a little bit differently than I did the skateboard, and I have a few reasons for that, but basically I have these, which I made out of just normal paper, but they're 4 layers thick. So basically I'm doing this whole thing 4 layers at a time. So you can see this lines up with that piece right there. Everything stays parallel to this bottom portion right here, so you can see that part right there is still going straight, still going parallel to this. And I've also been adding layers to this going in this direction, so they're perpendicular to the layers going in this direction. So every time I add a new layer, I just switch the direction, and it's just going to make it a lot stronger that way. So basically, I'm adding 4 layers to this at a time, which speeds up the process, and since the whole thing is going to be 2 inches thick, it's going to be plenty strong. So the only reason I did 1 layer at a time for the paper skateboard was because the whole thing was only half of an inch at the end. So if you look down the side, you can see it's pretty straight, and that's pretty easy to achieve. You just kind of have to leave it under books or a big board with a weight on it for like 3 days. But with such a big amount of paper here, anytime I add more layers to one side, like for example if I put them on this side, the whole thing would want to curve upward like that. So that's when you would just flip it over and add the same amount of layers to the other side, and then it just evens it out. So if you don't know exactly what you're looking at right now, you know, you're not alone, because I mean, hey, it just looks like a paper triangle right now, but basically this right here is going to be the front of the bike. So basically there's just going to be a cylinder that's going to go right here, and the pull for the handlebars is going to go through that. So it's not going to be a cardboard cylinder, this is just for an example. And there will also be a cylinder that's going to go right here, and that's going to hold the pull for the seat. So I don't know how far down it's going to go yet, I'll figure that out later. And as for the circle part right here down at the bottom, there's going to be a hole that just goes straight through that, and that's going to be where the pedals go through, the pull for the pedals, I guess I should say. So I actually have to stack this piece up to 0.295 first, and I have to make a mirror image of that, and those are basically going to surround the midsection of everything. So just imagine this is 0.295 thick, and then you glue the cylinder on there, and then you have other layers that get stacked up around it in a nice curved shape, so it'll keep it nice and strong. And then of course you take another mirror image of this and just put it on this side like that. So yeah, it's definitely a process, but I also have a bunch of scrap pieces that were cut off from, you know, these pieces when I glued them on, so I can use these for a bunch of other smaller projects that will definitely come in handy. So I'm assuming once I get the framework done, including the back portion, everything else will be relatively easy because it's just like pretty simple shapes. And the gear is going to go in this area, and I might just use an actual metal gear because I can't really make a paper gear that's the same thickness as a metal one and then use a metal chain, because then I'd have to make a paper chain. I mean, maybe sometime down the line I'll do that, but like it would have to be really bulky and reinforced. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I plan on making update videos on this pretty consistently as long as I make progress on it. So keep an eye out for that. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below or in a personal message. And be sure to subscribe if you want to see all the latest updates. And I'll see you guys in the next video.